So good morning to all of you. Myself, Dr. Rahul Shanker. Today now we are going to discuss some of the important current affairs related to the science and technology segment. Now we can see here Qdenga vaccine. So this has been on July 21st. (2026). We all know that Central Drug Standard Control Organization CDSCO. So it has approved and authorized use of dengue virus disease vaccine one which will be acting as one of the components of integrated strategy to control the dengue virus disease in India. So this has been an important development. First of all, this will be India's first dengue virus vaccine being approved. So this is the first dengue vaccine approved in India. It has already been approved by the previous 40-45 countries. It has already been approved. Now, considering the impact of dengue virus disease, which mainly impacts tropical, subtropical countries, so it is a special significance in the prevention and control strategy. So, under the integrated strategy to control dengue virus disease. So this is an important addition to control the dengue virus in India. So what are the components of this integrated strategy to deal with dengue virus disease? First of all, according to WHO, almost half of the population now grappling with the issue of dengue virus disease. So there are about 5 lakh people that develop the severe form of dengue, that is dengue hemorrhagic fever. Which can be life-threatening. So generally it is mild, asymptomatic, but it can become at times transforming a dengue hemorrhagic fever. So under this, what are the different strategies? So one is, as usual, control the breeding of mosquitoes. Vector control, that is preventing breeding of mosquitoes. So we all know that dengue virus disease is a vector-borne disease. It is a vector-borne disease. So dengue virus disease is what? Vector-borne disease. And vector these are the female Aedes aegypti mosquitoes. So definitely controlling the breeding of mosquitoes. Then apart from that, it also needs, which has been introduced now, that is the vaccine. Dengue vaccine. So under this, in India, it is the Qdenga vaccine which has been introduced. So Qdenga vaccine, it is regarded as live attenuated tetravalent vaccine. Developed using the backbone of dengue virus 2. So there are 4 serotypes of dengue virus. So to develop this vaccine, it has used dengue virus 2 as the backbone, including genetic components carrying the genetic components of the other 3, that is dengue virus 1, 3 and 4. So this vaccine will develop protection against all the 4 serotypes. So dengue virus 2 as the backbone, it will carry the genetic components of 1, 3 and 4 using recombinant DNA technology. Recombinant DNA technology. The importance of this vaccine, if we compare with the other vaccine that is already not in India but in other countries that it got approval. So when we compare this Qdenga vaccine with that of the other vaccine not introduced in India but in other countries, the concern was that the other vaccine, that is Dengvaxia vaccine. So this was earlier in news in 2015, but there were concerns that this vaccine could not be given to seronegative people, which means those people who do not have the prior, that is infection of dengue virus, they cannot be given this particular vaccine. However, Qdenga vaccine can be given to both seropositive and seronegative, administered to both seropositive and seronegative, which is the biggest advantage of this Qdenga vaccine. This Qdenga vaccine, it is 2-dose vaccine, double dose vaccine in a period of 3 months, with a gap of 3 months. And the age group for this vaccine, age group 4 to 60 years has been approved. So whether the person has already been infected with the virus or non-infected with the virus, both can be given this vaccine. So seropositive means those who are already infected with the virus, they also can be given the vaccine. Those who are negative also can be given the vaccine. So that is the importance of Qdenga vaccine. So this will be an important development because India comes under what hotspot of dengue virus disease. So dengue virus disease, we all know that it is a disease related to what? Tropical countries, subtropical countries. So generally during the monsoon period, July, August, September, so we can see increased incidences of dengue virus disease. So particularly to protect people from dengue hemorrhagic fever, where there could be leakage of plasma, and that can transform into even the shock syndrome. So there could be vascular leakage. So sometimes it can become life-threatening. Now this happens particularly, so those people who are already infected with the dengue virus, they will develop antibodies. So there could be antibody mediated enhancement that can occur, which can transform into dengue hemorrhagic fever. So there are 4 serotypes. Suppose one person has been infected with the dengue virus 1, person will develop antibodies. Now during the second infection, it may transform into dengue hemorrhagic fever. So one of the common symptoms we all know, that is high fever, vomition. Then there could be rashes over the body, muscle and joint pain due to dengue virus disease. But it can transform into, because of damage to the blood vessels, it can cause leakage of plasma because of excessive inflammation. And this happens particularly in people who get second time become infected with another serotype of the virus. So that is about the vaccine. Then another strategy in the integrated strategy. So one strategy, preventing breeding of mosquitoes, use of dengue vaccine. Another strategy is role of Wolbachia bacteria in controlling the dengue virus disease. So countries with high seroprevalence in terms of transmission of dengue virus, so where we can find that 60% of population, they are showing antibodies against the dengue virus. So such areas become the relevant areas, endemic areas, where we can implement the implementation of dengue virus vaccine. Now apart from that, we can see role of Wolbachia bacteria. So what is the relationship of Wolbachia bacteria with the dengue virus? Mosquitoes infected with Wolbachia bacteria. So mosquitoes infected with, that is Aedes aegypti mosquito infected with Wolbachia bacteria, this bacteria, it competes with the virus which is replicating in the mosquitoes. So it competes and prevents replication of dengue virus in the mosquitoes. So such mosquitoes already infected with Wolbachia bacteria, this is going to reduce the risk of transmission of dengue virus. So this has already been implemented, like in countries like Singapore, already implemented successfully. Now there is another point here regarding transmission of dengue virus. Generally we think that it is a mosquito borne, that is vector borne disease, but there are also other modes of transmission of the disease, and that is, so other modes of transmission of dengue virus. So this can also be vertical transmission, that is pregnant mother to fetus, there could be transmission of the virus. Then it can also be transmitted via contaminated blood transfusion, contaminated blood transfusion, or even in organ transplantation. Organ transplantation also. So generally we find in prelims exam, they can give any type of question. This could also be part of that. What are other modes of transmission apart from being vector borne? So that is the importance of the Qdenga vaccine in the context of India. India being a tropical country, this is an important strategy that has been added on to reduce the life-threatening risk of dengue hemorrhagic fever. Then another point that is in the current affairs. So one is Qdenga vaccine, that was news. The second important news was regarding India-Indonesia strategic deal regarding the defense export of Astra missile. For the first time now, there has been agreement where India is going to export Astra missile to the country Indonesia. So that is of strategic importance for India also. So what is this exactly Astra missile and why Indonesia is going for this particular missile? Now first of all, we call it as beyond visual range air-to-air missile. Now beyond visual range means beyond the line of sight of fighter pilot, the target can be traced. So that is the meaning of beyond visual range. As we can see, it comes under air-to-air missile. So to launch this air-to-air missile, it has been integrated with fighter jets or fighter aircraft. Sukhoi 30 MKI and light combat aircraft Tejas. It has been successfully integrated with fighter aircraft Sukhoi 30 MKI and LCA Tejas. Now Indonesia also uses Sukhoi fleet, so that increases its motivation interest to go for the Astra missile. So Indonesia also uses the Sukhoi fleet. So that is why it has going for this particular defense export from India. Now coming to other features. Range of missile 110 kilometers range of missile. Now, earlier we discussed beyond visual range. Now, beyond visual range means to what extent beyond the line of sight of fighter pilot the target can be reached. So that is beyond visual range. So this is said to be 37 kilometer or 20 nautical miles. So the target may be at this particular range still, and beyond line of sight it can be detected and it can launch this Astra missile. And this is the actual range of the missile, 110 kilometers. Then it uses fire and forget principle. Fire and forget principle. So fire and forget principle means it locks the target and chases the target. Locks the target and chases the target during its terminal phase. During its terminal phase using active radar seeker. So this will act as what? Eye of the missile. Active radar seeker. So this active radar seeker, this is going to emit radio waves towards the target, reflected back from the target. Now remember, the target here is fast moving target, which could be enemy fighter jet, enemy fighter aircraft, or it can be moving drones also, which can be targeted using this Astra missile. So this is an important principle, and even more important is it has been indigenously developed. Indigenously developed air-to-air missile. That is the homemade missile. Now coming to the speed of this missile, around 4.5 Mach, which means it is a supersonic missile. So more than 4 times the speed of the sound, supersonic missile. Now this Astra missile, it is being developed in 3 different versions. What we discussed just now in terms of 110 kilometers. So this is said to be Mark 1 of Astra missile. Astra Mark 1. The other 2 versions, other 2 variants, we have Mark 2, which is around 240 kilometer range of the missile. Then we have also Mark 3. And Mark 3, it can go up to a range of around 350 kilometers. Around 350 kilometers. It may vary, but around 350. Now this is being developed in the name of Project Gandev. This is being developed in the name of Project Gandev. So that is the importance of this missile. So that is how we can see from current affairs how questions can be asked in the prelims, or it can come in the mains exam. Thank you.